How's it going, everybody? My name is JustJarrod, but you can just call me Jared. This is your one-stop shop for legendary loot news, and today we're introducing Outriders, a dark co-op shooter being developed by People Can Fly and published by Square Enix. First, I'll play the trailer, then we'll talk about whether or not we'll see loot mechanics in Outriders.
Woke up in the morning, it's a long road. Kiss out in the evening, it's a long road.
Now somehow I managed to miss Outriders' announcement at E3 back in June of last year, so I'm just now hearing about this game. Thanks to ENIX over on Twitter, a fellow content creator who covers a bunch of games, most of which have a heavy focus on loot. Anyways, thanks to him, I now have Outriders on my radar. Definitely go check out his channel, I'll link it down below. He does super high quality stuff, and I've been a fan of his for years now. We'll return to this tweet in a second because it is of some importance. I get super heavy Destiny meets Gears of War from the Outriders trailer, and that's a good thing. People Can Fly were the developers of Gears of War Judgment, so it makes sense, I guess. People Can Fly have also worked on Fortnite and are the devs behind BULLETSTORM. Now they're a 4-studio-wide team and are working on Outriders, a dark shooter with drop-in, drop-out co-op in which you create your Outrider and journey across the planet ENIX in search of a mysterious signal. If you're a solo player, don't worry, Outriders can be enjoyed completely solo or in a team of up to 3 people, and the devs has said that it will have a strong story for us to follow. Besides the game supposedly releasing in September 2020 on PC, PS4, and Xbox One, we know absolutely nothing else about Outriders. Details and info since the announcement have been completely non-existent. At E3, after the trailer played, they showed a People Can Fly dev diary which shared a tad bit more about Outriders, most of which I already talked about, but we got to see some game footage on computer monitors in the background, which might give us some hints as to if we'll see some form of loot mechanics in-game. Do note that the devs did say there's a lot of depth to the game that they couldn't talk about at E3, so that depth could mean character customization as in skills or loadouts. It doesn't necessarily mean loot, but the fact that it's a co-op shooter in a dark fantasy world with huge amounts of depth certainly points to there being some kind of loot systems in-game. And if there is in fact loot, we might be looking at some of it right here. During that dev diary, they showed off some really slick looking weaponry that definitely has creepy alien vibes to them. The designs look pretty rad. There's some snipers in there, an auto rifle, and a pistol that I know for sure, but if there is loot in Outriders, we're definitely seeing a very small portion of that right here. Now let's quickly take a look at 2 of the monitors we see in the background of this dev diary. Obviously, take this with a grain of salt because no details on Outriders has been released officially or publicly, so any of this could be because of a dev build or an amalgamation of other things. But if you look at these two monitors here, it looks like we might be looking at an early version of a character menu or stat screen or pause screen, something like that. On the left monitor, you can barely make out different icons with different colors next to them, of which I see white, green, and purple. These could in fact be equipped pieces of loot. If you play a lot of games with loot, you know that those colors are commonly used to signify rarities. I guess it's just something to think about. I'm basically sold on there being some kind of loot mechanics in this game. You've got this screen here that, yes, it very vaguely hints at it, but the devs say there's tons of depth to the game, and the fact that ENIX, who mainly covers loot games, is at the first ever Outriders event in Warsaw right now, is pretty telling info that, yeah, there might be some loot. With that being said, that's really all the info I have. We should expect to see some news very soon about Outriders now that an event literally for the game just ended. Content creators and influencers who were there, who were invited to the event, probably have an NDA where they can't discuss anything quite yet, but once that is lifted, I'm sure we'll see a bunch of news, announcements, and gameplay. All the more reason to go follow ENIX. He'll probably have exclusive stuff once he's free of the NDA, and I'll also be covering anything that has to do with loot, naturally. But that's it for me. I just wanted to kind of introduce Outriders to show you guys what it is, what we know about it, and the possibility of there being loot. I'll link the trailer and dev diary to Outriders down in the description if you want to check those out for yourself. If you enjoyed the video, a rating is super appreciated as it helps get the video out to more people, and subscribe for more epic loot news on Outriders. Until next time, have a legendary day, night, afternoon. Peace out.